Hey guys, Katie here. All right, I have heard or at least seen on a lot of people's videos in the horror sphere, whatever you want to call it, that this is one of the most disturbing movies and one of the most disturbing movies people will never choose to watch again. I just got done watching it and it wasn't at all, of course, what I expected it to be. There is going to be huge spoilers in this as I describe the movie and just give my thoughts on it. But I thought this was a brilliant and fascinating film because it is so unbelievably real. Um, so it starts out with the main two couple, or the main couple, um, at a like swap meet or at an antique store, and they're having a salesman talk to them, and he's trying to sell them this glass table or this coffee table, but it's a glass table. And the wife doesn't want to get it, but the husband does, and they just had a baby too. So it's all three of them there. And the salesman keeps talking about how special this table is and how it has unbreakable glass. That he can promise that the glass is unbreakable. And so, anyways, they get into this big old long fight, and eventually the husband gets his way and he ends up buying the table, and they bring it to their new house that they just moved into with their new baby. So, just like any regular couple who have arguments, they continue to kind of bitter and batter back and forth, or however you want to say it. And he's putting together the coffee table, and there happens to be a screw that is missing. So it's not fully complete. So he sets the slab of glass kind of like tilted on its side up against part of the other table. It'll make sense once you watch it. Um, just on how the table's designed, it's got like two golden women that are like arched, their backs are arched. It's two of them, they're gold plated, and they're holding the glass by their elbows. If you saw the intro, it should have showed it a little bit, but anyways, that's the table, and it's the two women and everything is set up. It's just the glass part is not put on top. So that's just leaned up against one of the woman pillars, whatever you want to call her, um, and just left there for right now until he's able to get the next screw. So the movie continues, and the wife ends up saying, well, your brother's coming over, so we got to go get some food. So let me go ahead and go out and you watch the baby and everything like that. So she goes ahead, she leaves, and it's just him and the baby. And apparently, this is also, as we'll find out a little bit later on, that this is the first time that him and his son have been alone, because he's basically a newborn baby. And so, as soon as the mom leaves, she closes the door kind of hard, which wakes up the baby, and the baby starts crying. And then the dad, he's trying to comfort his son and saying, all the cute goobity gobbity, and I'm gonna gobble you up, and all the stuff we all say to cute little chubby babies and stuff. And all you see and hear is a crash. And then you see in frame a little bit of blood, and the baby stops crying. He fell or tripped or something happened to where the baby got killed from that glass on the coffee table. Uh, the baby is actually, it takes him a little bit for us to find out, like probably like a minute or something. Or no, I think a couple of minutes, because it kind of interchanges between telling what he's doing at home and what the wife is doing at the store. So when it comes back to him, when he's panicked, of course, this is what I think is very fascinating and just unbelievable for this actor, especially the main one who plays Jesus. Um, an incredible job. I mean, oh my god. But he doesn't realize what he's done. He's like in shock. but it was an accident. Like, it was nothing done on purpose. It was something that could literally happen to anybody at any time, at any age, anywhere. It was a pure accident. And the rest of the movie goes through how he handles that accident, which honestly, I don't think any one of us could say for sure what we would do in a situation like this unless we were in it, because I've thought one way about something very strongly, and when it actually happened, I ended up reacting completely differently. So he hides the baby, and he can't come to the baby's head, unfortunately rolled a bit away. It's underneath a chair that's in their living room where the coffee table is set up, and he can't pick up the head, so he just has the baby's body. And he changes the baby's diaper. He tries to clean up as best as he can. He has his hands all cut and blood's all over the place, of course, and everything. So as she's at this store in like real time, it feels really like almost real time, that he is trying to figure out what the hell to do and how to fix this, basically. And the way he goes about it is he acts like it didn't happen. He tries to clean it up. I think he's in so much shock. Like I said, the way he plays this character is just unbelievable. Like, you can, throughout the entire movie, you could see the stress, the torment, the turmoil, the sadness that he has for what he has done. So, once the wife comes home, he went and showered, cleaned up all the blood and everything like that. He went and when she got home, sorry, when she got home, um, he kept her away from the baby, saying, "No, I just got the baby to sleep, and it was so, so hard for me to put him to sleep." So he is not allowing her, sorry, there's Sadie, to go anywhere near the baby. But, he's still acting like the baby's alive, and just all around him with his wife. And then when his brother and his brother's girlfriend come over, they're just having normal conversations like everybody would. But you're basically feeling it, sensing it, at least in my perspective as I was watching it, is I felt like we were in his head. Like, the music even was so perfectly just timed to kinda portray the shock, because also, how many times have we ever seen a baby get decapitated? So, that part is a bit extreme with the whole having the baby be decapitated, but again, the premise is that this can literally happen to anyone because it was an accident. Like, who hasn't fallen over? Who hasn't tripped? Who hasn't, fell down or missed a step and then, kind of fell down a couple of stairs or something? Just simple things that are like everyday occurrences for everybody, but this is to the extreme. And sorry about her. Um, but so they're the brother and the brother's girlfriend are over. They're having dinner or lunch, whatever you want to call it. Um, and they're talking, and like I said, it's all like going through his head, everything that is being said, because they're newborn parents, so or the brother and the girlfriend are congratulating him, asking him how does it feel to be a parent, and who do you love more, your wife or your son? And so we're going through all of that with him. So eventually it comes to a head where he ends up telling his brother what had happened. And his brother and him are in the bedroom and they're talking, and his brother sees the baby and asks about where the head is. And the head is still underneath the chair while they're all sitting there having dinner. So, and they're trying to figure out a way basically to figure out how to tell his wife. I don't know exactly what they were gonna do. I'll honestly say throughout this movie too, I kept wondering, like, is this gonna be one of those movies where, how we've seen in real life, just like how accidents can happen, accidents can also turn into murder, into suicide, into this, that, and the other. So every move that he made, I was like, okay, what is he doing next? What is he planning? And so that tension is there throughout the whole movie. So this movie really just grips you by the fucking throat, and you're there the whole way through unless you stop it right there and you can't take it, which I can understand that. But in my perspective, I honestly, the premise of it, yeah, because of the baby part, I find it disturbing, but I will absolutely watch this movie again, and that's probably a very unpopular opinion, maybe. I don't know exactly, but this isn't, it's disturbing, but in a very different way than most disturbing stuff, because this is felt so real. It's like how I think the Joker, um, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, that one actually kind of disturbed me too in the same way because it felt so real. His craziness, the way he looked at the world, everything, it just felt so real. And it was scary. But again, it's all stuff that happens. There are mentally ill people out there. There are accidents that happen, and then there are terrible things that happen afterwards. So, sorry, she's sitting in my lap now. I'm trying to stay in spot. But, so at the end, when they're in the bedroom, the brother and the husband are in the bedroom with the baby. They're coming out of the bedroom, about to try to figure out what to do next. Pretty much they want first and foremost to try to get the head back to I guess, I don't know how or what they, because it didn't go into much detail. It's just they said no matter what, we can't let your wife see your son like this without a head. So I think their plan was to try to somehow the brother covertly go and grab the head, and then I don't know from there. Let your imagination go wild. But they were going to try to grab the head so that way it could be less traumatic when they tell the wife what really happened. But that doesn't end up happening. There's a neighbor that comes down. She's a 13-year-old girl. She got introduced earlier in the story, but I forgot to mention her until now. But she's a 13-year-old girl who apparently has a really big crush on Jesus, the husband. And apparently she's saying like they kissed in the elevator, and he's been sending her texts about how he's in love with her and stuff, and he's like, no, you're 13, you're just being silly, and I sent you some poems, or suggested some poems from a book because you said you needed it for school. So it's one of those kind of situations, and I didn't know, again, for sure where it was going to go and if it was going to be something more, but it was literally just a 13-year-old girl's infatuation with an older man. And so she comes to the apartment while the brother and him just come out of the room while they're trying to go and grab the head of the baby. And she comes in because she wants to expose Jose, I guess, for cheating on her in her mind, that her and the husband, Jose, are in love. And she wants to tell the wife that. But again, it's just some fantasy. And she has a dog with her. So, of course, like the instant you see that, you already automatically know what's going to happen. The dog smells the blood. He goes directly for it. He grabs it. And then it just goes on from there. Everybody finds out. The wife finds out. And they both, apparently, I don't know for sure how, because I think it's kind of, we can make up our own mind or see how things went to our own imagination or whatever, but all you see is once the brother finally reveals the head to the wife is carrying it and she's walking out to the balcony. And then just like how when the baby first died, we don't actually see it, but we know what's happened. She jumped. So she jumped to her death, and then it goes black and then it goes into like the police being there. So we don't know exactly what happened yet, but then it comes out that the husband jumped too. So now all three of them, the baby, the wife, and the husband, they're all together again in the end. And they're standing where the glass should have been on the glass table. So that's where it ended. And yeah, so I really don't know. Like I said, I've heard so much about this being one of the most disturbing movies and people not wanting to ever watch it again. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on it because I haven't done this in a while and I kind of really wanted to talk about it because this is not something I could ever bring up to Joe or anything to really talk about. So, but yeah, if you've seen this, please let me know what you think. Is this something you will watch, you can watch, you have watched, you will ever watch again, you won't ever watch again? All the things. What are, your takes? Do you find it to be highly disturbing? Do you find it to be realistic like I do and just find it fascinating because we hear all these stories all the time on the news, about parents who did this or did that and all this kind of stuff. And just to actually be there in the moment when something like this happens, because literally it can happen to anyone. They even say it in the special features on why they all chose to do this movie too, is because this is just a normal family going about their life and a horrible, horrible, tragic accident happens. And again, you're never going to know. I don't think anyone can for sure ever say for sure, unless they have been in that exact situation, how they will react. We can all assume and predict and, think about it, of course, but to know how we will really act, I don't think will happen until, something, if hopefully nothing like this ever happens to, you know what I mean, but I'm just saying. But, yeah, I should probably put this at the beginning too, that huge trigger warnings for, I mean, I don't even know, what would you say this for? I mean, we like in, Pet Sematary, Gage dies. He's just a tiny little toddler. Yeah, he can walk, he's not a baby, but, I mean, so we have seen something kinda a bit, out there, but I don't know. This just felt different, especially again because of the whole baby part. Like that was the last thing in the world I was expecting. Was I did not. I mean, if you just look at the cover, that could be anything. That could be supernatural. That could be exactly what I described. That could be just a murderous person who did all of that on purpose. Like you can't tell much from the cover, other than of course something bad happens. And yeah, so. But I don't know. I'm going to see if all these thoughts make any sense because, like I said, I literally just got done watching it and I really, really wanted to talk about it. So, those are kind of my thoughts. I'm going to watch this back, see if it is cohesive enough to make sense, and then I'll see if I'll post it. But otherwise, I will see you guys later. All right. Bye.